Day 92 of the second run of 100 Days Making Comics. I'm Ox, and this is where I tell you how I've worked on my independent comic, I Never Forgot, for at least a half hour for 100 consecutive days, and this is my second run, back-to-back of that. And how did I work on my comic? Oh yeah, no fancy stuff today, no multiple cuts, anything like that. It's been a real trying day, to say the least. I thought my phone had bricked itself, so it took about 3 hours to get that straightened out. It seems to be working a lot better than what it was. Did a whole resync of the system. I haven't had any lockups since then, but have used it sparingly just because. Also had some troubles here at the house, which took away from me working on anything. So I've only spent about an hour working on the sketchbook pages for issue 4. I'm editing my friend's story and kind of putting my own take on our friendship for the back of issue 4. What this means is something happened to my friend in his past that a character in my story is based on, and what makes him so noticeable is something during this massive change changed him. And there's quite a lot of meaning in what happened, and I wanted to put that in the story too somehow, but wasn't sure how. When I started doing these sketch pages, I knew that would be a perfect platform for that. So now I'll be a little less cryptic now. So you see the zombies attacking. The main zombie that is coming out of the grave is Donnie. He is based on my best friend, and he has tattoos wrapping around his shoulders and going down his back. When my best friend was in high school, he was in a pretty bad car wreck. One of the things I started talking to him actually was because of the tattoos, and wanted to see him because the designs looked. I've never been a real big tribal fan, but when somebody dedicates that much real estate to such a large tribal, kind of gets me interested. So I'm trying to tell the story of what made him decide to get this tattoo done, in this car wreck. Kind of pushed him towards that decision. A lot more will be detailed in the story, but I figured I'd let you guys know. Have you seen the first issue? You see this picture, telling about his friend's stuff too. That one is my best friend. Obviously, I'm the one with the ox horns. These characters are based on us anyway. And you can see the tattoos wrapping around the backside, or around his shoulders. Well, you'll also notice those on the zombie that's coming out of the grave. That starts on the covers. And let me see if I can. Oh, well. Yeah, I can show you in the sketch pages. So, in the sketch pages of the first one, I showed off all of these. These are basically the backgrounds, or the back covers for the entire run. And eventually, a zombie is going to be climbing out of the grave. And eventually, on the back cover, it'll have the zombie coming out, halfway out, but you'll be able to see that he has the same markings as his friend. And you'll be able to tie one and one together that they were friends. Best friends, in fact. And I'm going to tell his story of why he got those tattoos and what they mean to him and how we became such good friends after the fact. I might even share a couple good stories about tattoo. I'll share one right now. So, when we were in college together, we used to have drinking parties, much like that picture is based on. We'd invite a bunch of friends over to my own house. I was renting a house when I was going to college, and we just drink all night long. I was of age. There might have been a few that were underage, but when I started college, I was 21, so it was no big deal to me. Well, whatever. It happened a decade ago, so I'm not worrying about it now. So I would throw parties, typically over the weekends, and we'd have one every third week or so. So, me being the host, I would always bounce from group to group, making sure everybody was having a good time, whatever. If people needed drinks, whatever. I would try to be the best host I could. It's always made me nervous when somebody comes to your party and is picking up after people. Something about that just doesn't sit right with me. So one of these times, me and my buddy was just BSing and talking, and one of the guys there, one of our friends had brought her date. It's somebody nobody knew, and he was picking up cans for us, which wasn't a big deal, but being a host, I told him he didn't have to worry about that. We always cleaned up the day after. Like, a few of us stayed over the night because we would be too drunk to leave, and they'd help clean up before they left in the morning. So I told him we didn't have to worry about that, whatever. So he spotted my buddy's tattoos coming around his neckline, and where they would come over the shoulder. So he's like, "Oh, you got tattoos?" He's like, "Oh yeah, got a huge tribal across my back." So then he asked me if I had tattoos, and this was before I had my, I had started my sleeves. So I have a big tattoo on my leg, and I showed it off to him. He's like, "It's pretty nice tattoos. I've got a tattoo. Anybody want to see it?" We're like, "Sure, whatever." Pulls up his shirt. Giant. When I say giant, I mean giant. Huge swastika right on his chest. Me and my buddy immediately started freaking out. Like, we just tried looking for stuff to do. We're like, "Oh, everybody needs us over in these directions," and just split. We then found his date, that our friend that had brought him, and we kind of pulled her to the side. We're like, "Hey, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Like, how well do you guys know each other?" They're like, "Oh, we've talked a couple times at school." It was like, just a heads up, dude has a giant swastika on his chest. And she's like, "I had no idea that." And I was like, "Yeah, he's just showing it off around the party now." So, nothing really happened about it. We just kept our eyes on him the rest of the night, and nothing bad happened that night. It was just so random. I don't think I've ever seen a giant swastika tattoo in person, for one, and being that huge on somebody's chest. It's a whole different kind of level of craziness, I would assume. For those not aware, a swastika is what the Germans would use to show their affiliation with the Nazi Party. It's a real high level of hate and contempt for, I would say, minorities and people that don't think like them. I'm glad I don't have friends that are like that. There's no place for that amount of hate in this world, and I try to be a person that exudes love and welcomes everybody, but there's some things that are just too far. And I mean, he seemed like a good enough guy, but he also seemed very proud of that tattoo. and I just definitely didn't need anybody like that in my life. So I might put some stories like that, some good old fashioned tattoo stories, in the back of the sketchbook too. It'll depend on how much I shorten of his story. It's a pretty lengthy read, and I'm going to be putting some pictures of us in there, with our friendship, things that have happened, probably a few of those party nights, and I think I have a couple of the last time he got his tattoo, where he got his back tattoo tied in like down his spine, which is nuts. If you've ever had a tattoo on your spine, kudos to you. So yeah, I think that's where I'm going to leave it today. I didn't do multiple edits. Obviously, I've been working on that, editing that story, so not much to show of it, but it will be in issue 4 if you're so inclined to grab that. I've kind of detailed what I need to do in the next 2 months, and I realize that I have to have semi-proof before I go to launch it at Kickstarter. I want to prove that I have it ready to go. So I think this next week is basically going to be working towards getting that finished up, which means getting the sketch pages done, the preview pages of issue 5. Also means I'm going to have to paint the cover for issue 5. I was thinking I was going to paint the back covers and other interior covers, but I think that stuff can wait till December, so I'm not trying to push it, but I do have to get a considerable amount of work done on issue 4, just so I can get those proofs ready and done before I launch the Kickstarter for the 4th issue. It will be running the length of November. It's going to be your basic, my basic layout for, it'll follow issue 2's Kickstarter campaign, if you want to look it up on Kickstarter. But basically, I'll have a digital version for $5, the issue itself for $10. It'll be about 48 pages. It might be a little longer. I know issue 3 was 52 pages. So it'll be 48 pages for sure. Perfect bound. High gloss cover. It's pretty sweet looking. It will go along with the other covers. But along those notes, so the issue will be $10. It will also have a postcard set of issue 3 and 4 of both the regular issues and the variant covers postcard set. That'll be another $10, so that'll be a $20 tier, and then I'll do a sketch on the inside for another $10, making it at $30. So if you want to get ready with that, I know I said to somebody with their Kickstarter, they were kind of teasing it and whatnot, and I was like, it's the ACPAD, ACPAD. If you've seen the video on YouTube, it's an acoustic guitar with basically a electric drum set they can put an overlay on and then tie that into the electric jack and power that. So when he's strumming the acoustic guitar, he can also do like drum beats and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. But they've been teasing the release of the Kickstarter that's coming the 22nd. I definitely think you should check it out if you're interested in musical instrument stuff, whatnot. But they haven't released any price points or anything like that, so I don't know. I'm looking to get it for a friend for Christmas, so hopefully it's not crazy expensive. So yeah, the digital will be 5, regular physical copy will be 10, postcard set will be another 10, and then a sketch on the inside will be the $30 tier set. All tier sets include your basic thanks and the back of the issue. Let me show you that. So there's a list of everybody I think that helps donate to the Kickstarter when it comes up. There's also a painting on this side. This painting typically gets given away for... Oh, here, I'll show you. So I'll be doing this in a couple days. This was the painting I used for issue 3. And everybody that did the Kickstarter is asked if they'd like to be in the running for that painting. And from that, I'll take the names that wanted to be in the drawing, and I will put them in a hat and draw from that, and somebody will win that painting. All you have to do is be a backer of a physical tier, because I send that with the books and whatever when I mail those out. So yeah, look forward to that. It's going to be starting probably the 1st or 2nd of November. I'll be kicking that off. It'll be running the length of November. So then, once I have the proof, it'll be ready to go, ready to be printed. I will just need the funding. Once I get funding, it'll take a couple weeks for those orders to process. I'm crossing my fingers that I can have a anonymous funder help me fund them as soon as the Kickstarter is funded, so then I can grab some money from them, pay for books, have them ready to go the beginning of November, do sketches on the inside of those, and do whatever I need to with those, and get those going out to people. I'm hoping to have them in people's hands by Christmas, so if anybody wants to do Christmas gifts as well. Oh yeah, there will be backwards tiers as well. I've typically been running 2 back issues, so I'll do issue 4 and 3, a sketch on the inside of both, or just one. I will probably do an all physical copy, the catch-up one, which will be $40 as well. That's $10 an issue. So the 2 sketchings will come with the postcard set 2, and we'll have 2 sketches. I believe that's $45, so you're saving about $10-15, something like that. Yeah, this video is a lot longer than I was expecting it to be. But tomorrow will be day 93, and at that point there will only be 1 week left of these 100 days. So yeah, just basically figuring out what I need to finish up the 4th issue and get that ready and roaring to go, so I have the proofs here before November. So it's going to be a pushing week. I might actually get to roughs and inks on issue 5, those preview pages anyway, in the next couple days. That's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching this long and learning all that good information and whatnot. Love you all. Hope the weekend's treating you all well. Check in with you tomorrow. It'll probably, fingers crossed, be a cut-up video showing multiple stages during the day, because I have a few fun plans for those. So, love you all. Thanks.